Fafsa Fsa Id workshop. My name is Amy Wright, and I am the College Access Mentor with the Northern Arizona College Resource Center, or NACRC for short, in Prescott Valley. The NACRC is a free resource providing assistance to career search, career advising, navigating the financial aid process, including completion of the FAFSA, or free application for federal student aid. We also provide assistance with regards to finding and applying to colleges and scholarships, finding and applying to trade schools or universities or community colleges. We also offer assistance to students with regards to transitioning into college life. One note though, the NACRC does not recruit for NAU or Northern Arizona University, Yavapai College, or any other colleges. We are here to help students, any student, regardless of their choice of schools to attend. So before I start the presentation, I just have a few housekeeping reminders. First of all, if you can please mute your button, or mute yourself, I'm sorry, during the presentation. Also, if you have any questions, please write them down in the chat box. However, I will not be able to get to your questions until the end of the presentation because unfortunately, I am unable to check the chat box during the presentation. I'm unable to access it. Also, I had put in the chat box the link to the workshop survey. NACRC is a nonprofit grant-funded organization, so we receive grants. So we need data in order for us to continue providing the services that we do for students and parents. So I posted the link to the survey, and so if you can just please complete it after the presentation this evening or tomorrow and submit it. So before I begin, I just want to explain some acronyms in case you're not familiar with them. FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid, and FSA ID is the federal student aid ID, okay? So I will be mentioning FAFSA and FSA during the presentation. So without further ado, let's start the presentation. So, all right. So what is it? What is a FAFSA? FAFSA is just the username and password that gives you access to the federal student aid online system and also serve as your legal signature on the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. What that means is that if you plan to file the FAFSA online, you will need an ID in order to access the online system. And that also will serve as your legal signature when you complete and submit the FAFSA online. So, okay, I'm just gonna admit somebody here. So, how do we start creating the FSA ID? So what I'm going to do, we're going to be watching a short video on creating the FSA ID. This video is available on YouTube under studentaid.gov, and I'll also post the link in the chat box at the end of the presentation. You are welcome to view it anytime. Also, after the video, I will also go over the different information that you need in order to complete the FSA ID, as well as tips and reminders on how you can successfully create the ID. So I will just be sharing this video. let me just stop sharing my screen. And what I'm going to be doing is I will be going over the, again, what you have seen in the video, what are the important documents that you will need, as well as the reminders and the steps. So I'm going to go through the process again of how to apply or complete your FSA ID. So let's get started. So as you saw in the video, there are 5 simple steps in creating your FSA ID. First, you create your username and password. And then next, you will be putting in your personal information. And that would be your first name and last name, your social security number. And then you will go and provide then your contact information, which will be your personal email address, your mailing address. And then the next one is your challenge questions. And as you saw in the video, there is a drop-down list to choose your challenge questions, and then you provide the answers. I highly suggest that you write your challenge questions and your answers in a secure place, because in the event that you forget your username and password, you can readily access that information and plug it in if you need to reset your password. Once you have completed, there are 4 challenge questions and I believe 1 optional 5th question. Once you have completed that, then you will be confirming the information that you will be submitting to FAFSA, as well as accepting the terms and conditions of the FAFSA. Then you will verify your mobile phone number, your email address, and you're done, okay? So it's 5 simple steps. So what do I need? What do you need? Oh, let's go back. You will need your social security number, personal email address, your mailing address, and your date of birth. If you have any special circumstances regarding to your social security number or personal email address or any of the information needed, you may contact me at the contact information that I will be providing at the end of this presentation, okay? So here are just some tips and reminders when you're creating your FSA ID. Again, you will need your own social security number. If you have any questions or a special circumstance with regards to this information, please feel free to contact me and I will be more than happy to sit down with you or chat with you and help you complete the FAFSA and help you with the application process. Your FSA ID is your own, for your own use. You cannot share it with your siblings or your parents or your friends. You also cannot create an FSA ID or an ID for another person. So the ID, the student create his or her own FSA ID as well as the parent. So this means that the parent cannot create an ID for the student and vice versa. You will use your personal email address and not the school email. The reason being for this is that when the student graduates high school, their high school email or their school email gets deactivated and will no longer be accessible to the student. So in the event, well, FAFSA will send you the student aid report or SAR, as well as they may need to send you documents, or they may request some information. They will not be able to reach the student. They will not be able to contact the student because the high school email address is no longer active. So I highly suggest, it's highly suggested to use your personal email address. It could be your Gmail, your Yahoo Mail, your MSN email, or your cable network email, Cable One, Sparklight, so, but not the school email. For parents, also use your personal email address. Please write your FSA ID in a secure place, as well as your challenge questions. Because like I said, it is a hassle when you need to reset your password to go through the whole process. So you need to store, if you can just put your ID information, your username, your password, your challenge questions, your answers in a secure place. Some students take a picture of the ID, the username and password on their phone. It's a good idea. However, if the student decides to get a new phone, or they lose their phone or they break it, they will not be able to access that information on the phone. So if you have a journal book, I don't know, a small notebook that you keep, a diary, keep it there, okay? So what's next? Now that you have your ID, you will now then apply for the free FAFSA, for Federal Student Aid. The FAFSA opens on October 1st. You go to studentaid.gov to file the application. And there you will complete the FAFSA form. For a lot of us, completing the FAFSA, the free application for federal aid, can be a very daunting process. So if you need help, we are here to help. We will be having FAFSA office hours at those dates at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This just means that we will be open for meetings if you need help with completing the FAFSA, you have any questions. I will be available at those days at that time. It could be, for now, I believe that I will be doing it virtually through Zoom meetings, but if any needs to come in person, you can just contact me and I can schedule that with you. We also have this FAFSA overview presentation at that link that will give you more information about the FAFSA. Then once you have completed your application for federal student aid, you will then go and apply for the schools that you've chosen. It is suggested that you apply to at least maybe 5 to 8 schools. You know, you apply for maybe 3 of your rich schools, safety schools, and the best fit schools. Then you will also apply for scholarships and grants in order to fund your education. Depending on the federal aid that you will receive, you may need more money to be able to fund your education. And again, we are here to help. The NACRC is here to help you go through the whole process. And like I said, we are here to help students and parents in completing and submitting the FAFSA. We are here and we offer career advising in finding the best fit schools, in applying for colleges and scholarship applications, writing essays. We also have an ACT and SAT test prep, and we also help, once the student is admitted into college, we also provide services or help assistance in helping the student transition into college life. I did mention before that our services are free. However, ACT and SAT test prep, there is a fee for these camps. If you're interested, you can contact me and I'll give you more information. I'll give you my contact information at the end. However, also if the student just needs to practice taking the test, the ACT and SAT, we have free resources, practice tests. So if you are interested in those practice tests as well, you may contact me and I'll send you the information. So the NACRC is located within the NAU Yavapai campus in Prescott Valley. We are next to the Prescott Valley Library. Our email address is nacrc@nau.edu. Our phone number is 928-523-9654. We are also on Facebook and Instagram. So like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. We post a new scholarship every Monday, okay? So that is the end of the presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna close it out and I will go to the chat box to check if you have any questions.